Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but we also discuss how we're going to fix it together. The content that I'm about to lay out for you is stacking upon this morning's video where we talked about the ATF's open letter and announcement of how they just declared anything a firearm now because it can be readily converted and manufactured. We're going to get to that in a second, but there's something that was sticking in my brain around an FPC lawsuit that we covered 2 days ago. It's possible that FPC may have forced ATF's hand, which made them make more mistakes. Everything that I'm about to cover is linked in the description box below, and you guys tell me if I land this plane or if I am seeing rainbows where there shouldn't be. But I think there's something here. Now, if you are a new or returning viewer, we would love to have you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on because we need as many people as we can that are like-minded, count amongst friends and family in the trenches with us so we can spread the blessing of the Second Amendment nationwide. And the more of you that do that, the more it helps. Thank you so much in advance for your consideration. Now, the content we're about to cover is brought to you by XS Sights, and XS Sights makes the fastest sights in any light. For more than 25 years, the XS team has created some of the most innovative lights in the industry with rifles, pistols, and shotguns. Whether used for personal defense, hunting, tactical applications, whatever it is, they have an option for you, and there is a link in the description box below. Thank you so much to XS Sights, and now let's get into this because I need your help, guys. Tell me if I am imagining these things or do you see some crossover here because the timing is interesting. There are no coincidences in what we deal with. Now, in the video this morning, which is linked, we talked about the ATF's new announcement, an open letter, right? It changed all the rules overnight. But something about it was weird. Why would they send something, basically an auto-drafted email, to change an entire sector of the gun world when they knew they were going to get tremendous pushback and they couldn't play defense because no one was in the office? It was for a holiday. That seems odd to me. Now, it could totally just be they don't care. It could also be something else. Check this out. What I'm showing you is the actual letter that we covered in the video this morning, both of which are linked down there. I have the letter itself available for download on thesecondpress.co, completely free, also linked. But there was a specific part in here which really stuck out in my brain because it mirrored and echoed the FPC lawsuit, which I'm going to reference in 1 second, and you tell me if there's some crossover, like I said. This definition of readily applies to each classification of a partially complete frame or receiver under this rule, whether sold alone or as part of a kit. Therefore, even without any associated templates, jigs, molds, equipment, tools, instructions, guides, or marketing materials, these partially complete pistol frames are frames and firearms as defined in the Gun Control Act and its implementing regulations. Now, that was a direct stab at the FPC lawsuit where they requested that the ghost gun rule from the ATF was to be vacated and forever rescinded. Bye-bye, enjoined forever. That was something that was crucial, and I think it plays into what the ATF just did. Now, as I mentioned in here, you've got a few things that are hearkening directly to that FPC lawsuit. The fact that a frame would be in or outside a kit. That is what the entire Texas federal court lawsuit is about. Then you go into other things, specifically marketing materials and jigs, because the ATF has previously argued in that exact same case, which I'm about to reference and show you, that it's not a firearm as long as there's not a jig or instructions in the kit. That was their standing argument in the court. We covered it on this channel. But now they reversed course, and this is the part where I think they fell deeper into the bear trap than they intended to. Check this out. And like I said, please let me know if I'm landing this plane. What I'm showing you right now is an excerpt from the actual lawsuit in Texas federal court. This is the Vanderstock case. Okay, this is all around the ghost guns and 80%. All right, or the frames rather. Here's the first thing. The agencies failed to adequately explain their change in position. This is what FPC is alleging to the court that the ATF did. A court cannot uphold an administrative agency's decision that amounts to an unexplained reversal of policy. ATF just reversed themselves again. An agency changing its course must supply a reasoned analysis. It is established administrative law that if the agency fails to acknowledge a change in its position and adequately explain it, the changed position will be afforded no deference in litigation under Chevron. Now, this is incredibly important because Chevron deference is how they're doing all of their dictatorial actions. They're interpreting a congressional law, and therefore they are interpreting it and making it as such. They are really usurping the power of Congress, and they're making laws by fiat, but that's the whole point. That's the whole point of contention. But what I want to hit here is FPC was already alleging they were changing their mind. It didn't have adequate response to why they changed their mind, and they just did it again. Okay, now that's the first one. Let's go to the second one because this starts to stack and you'll see it. In recent years, as detailed by plaintiffs' excess authority briefs, the agencies acknowledged and affirmatively argued, including before another federal court, that an NFO, not a firearm, the frames, is not a firearm under the Gun Control Act, even if it can be readily converted to a frame or receiver. Does that language sound familiar? Readily converted was in the ATF open letter. So was the marketing material. So were the jigs. So was the kits and the solo without kits. Is all this kind of lining up? Is it starting to make sense? At least from my perspective it is. Let's keep going. The agencies have long concluded that they do not have the authority to apply language from the gun codes when Congress had not done so. Again, usurping power from congressional authority on the executive branch through Chevron deference. You cannot do that. That's why they've been so hesitant to do anything, and now they may have just screwed the pooch because they pushed it too far. And this is my last one, and then I'm going to show you something else in the lawsuit. But the agencies came to the exact opposite conclusion in their response to comments on the proposed rule. Citing no legal authority for the change, the agency simply disagreed with commenters' suggestions that the agency could not use the concepts of readily and converted, also exactly in the open letter the ATF just sent, in the definition of a frame and receiver. Beyond being in excess of the agency's authorities, the agencies failed to adequately explain their change in position. Rather than rely on legal authority, the agencies curiously invoked tautology, claiming their new position was appropriate because manufacturing, their prior method of analyzing the status of an NFO, is converting. They changed definitions. The entire premise of this FPC lawsuit was saying, guys, you're kind of changing your minds and you're not explaining why, and you're kind of just doing this off the hip. It's exactly what they're doing. They did it again. And specifically, in the first piece in that letter that I was mentioning, the marketing materials was one of the sticking points that the ATF was getting in trouble with in the FPC lawsuit, because they actually went after the fact that they were chilling free speech because they were saying you could not put marketing materials inside the kits. The ATF just stepped in it again. They said, well, now kits and no kits, they're all firearms, further complicating their previous standard of arguing in court that they weren't. This is bigger than it initially looked, and let me know if I landed that plane. Do you guys see what I see, or am I just out there because I'm tired? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.